Golden Diamonds, Rick is buying and selling a woman's best friend, diamonds. Stop in now and check out the wide selection from Chattanooga's premier jeweler, Rick Davis Golden Diamonds, 5301 Brainerd Road in Chattanooga. Before you buy, let Rick Davis Golden Diamonds create that special gift for you. Diamonds, diamonds, diamonds at Rick Davis Golden Diamonds, 5301 Brainerd Road in Chattanooga.
Cougar Radio 92.7.
Good morning, and welcome to the Breakfast Blitz. Happy Saturday to everybody. I'm Nick Leffew. Man, what a fun week in college football it's been. Been very interesting, to say the least. Unless you're hiding under a rock, you've heard of everything going on in Columbus, Ohio this week. And it's honestly, it's a sad situation. As we get close to college football, you know, I was on Sam Jordan's show on, I believe, Wednesday or Thursday. And I guess it was Wednesday. And we were chatting a little bit about the situation as the news continued to break on Wednesday of Urban Meyer, head coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes, getting put on a paid administrative leave, which honestly to me sounds like he's on maternity leave more than he's in trouble. And the story just keeps getting more weird. And then I don't know why it continues to do so. I don't understand what Ohio State's waiting for. Obviously, I think a lot of it has to do with legalities. If you are going to terminate his employment with the university, you've got to, if you're Ohio State, you've got to find a way to terminate his employment with cause. Because his contract has a $38 million buyout. Now, we're going to get into this a lot later, or a lot more later on, too, once Keon Rose, host of The Clutch with Keon Rose, Monday through Thursday at 8 p.m. here on Cougar Radio, 92.7 FM. We're going to get into it a lot more with Keon, so I don't want to give away too much of what's going on, but my gosh, if you're Ohio State and you can't terminate him with cause, you're talking about a $38 million buyout. $38 million. I mean, that's a lot of money to buy out a guy who his character has been put into question a lot more even recently than it was prior, and a lot more has come out with Zach Smith, the former wide receivers coach at the Ohio State University, who was alleged to have committed acts of domestic violence against his wife on multiple occasions. So we'll dive tons more into that as we get a little bit later into the show. On a positive note, when it comes to college football, we're 28 days away from the first full day of college football. 28 days. That's 4 weeks, guys. It's 4 weeks. Practices around the country have started to heat up. Tennessee took the field yesterday for the first time under new head coach Jeremy Pruitt in his first fall camp. Saw some footage from some of the local Knoxville media yesterday my first takeaways from that is, one, I saw Jarrett Garantano taking snaps under center, so that's huge. That's nice. Not that he was taking snaps, but that he was under center and not in the shotgun. So that's huge. If you're a Tennessee fan and you've seen Butch Jones over the last 5 years refuse to go into any type of pro formation, single back, anything where you're under center. So that's very exciting. And another thing that I want to touch on a little bit too, and this is more for people who care about this kind of thing, the uniforms. It was an interesting look when Tennessee came out in the practice jerseys yesterday. Since Nike's taken over the Tennessee uniforms, and this may have been a Butch Jones thing, because even when Butch Jones came in and Tennessee was still Adidas, on the white uniforms in the late 90s, early 2000s, Tennessee had a black outline of their numbers. When Butch Jones arrived in 2013, that went away. And it is a clean look without that black outline, just the orange numerals. However, yesterday, first fall camp, practice jerseys. And I know it's a practice jersey, but the white practice jerseys had the orange numerals with a black outline. And not to mention, the numbers font on the uniform was back to the old Tennessee font, not the Nike font that Tennessee had been using since 2015. Again, practice jerseys. So probably realistically doesn't mean anything at all, because they are practice jerseys. And I don't know the schematics with everything when it comes to uniforms, how quickly, a new coach can come in and completely change the way the uniforms look. But we already know that the checkerboard portion of the stripe on the pants and the helmet are gone, going back to the more traditional look. And of course, no longer wearing the orange and white cleats. Tennessee's going back to the black cleats that were so synonymous with Tennessee football program under Philip Fulmer. So, obviously, don't really know if this is a Philip Fulmer thing or if this is a Jeremy Pruitt thing, but I feel like these two guys may have some beefs every now and then with their two alpha personalities and their two coaching brains. But I do think you're going to see a more traditional look come September 1st from the University of Tennessee when they roll out in their uniforms against West Virginia. Now, I do believe Tennessee is wearing orange jerseys, so we won't really know about the white jerseys until Tennessee goes on the road for the first time, which I do believe is a trip to Athens in week 5. So the first 4 games, one neutral site game in Charlotte on September 1st, and then another neutral, or then 3 home games to follow, starting with, I believe it's UTEP, ETSU, or ETSU, UTEP, and then Florida. So you won't see the white uniforms at all until Tennessee comes out in Athens, so we won't probably really know until then, unless Tennessee makes an announcement if any of the uniforms have changed. Usually, if that happens, if they do make an announcement with any changes in uniforms, that happens a lot earlier than right before the first game. So who knows with that, how that's going to go. But more to the on the field from yesterday. Tennessee takes the field yesterday, Friday, August the 3rd, for the first practice under new head coach Jeremy Pruitt in the fall camp. Obviously no shoulder pads. They were in shorts, jerseys, and helmets. But Jeremy Pruitt seemed pretty pleased with the way things looked. For the most part, he said the offense did a good job of, and these are the simple things early on that you have to do well to be able to be successful, especially under a new regime. Says offense broke huddle well, had no problems with the verbiage of the new offense. So it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, Jarrett Garantano's had a lot more time under the new offensive coordinator, Tyson Helton, than graduate transfer Keller Christ has at the quarterback position. So obviously, Keller Christ, smart kid, went to the university or went to Stanford. And if you're able to go to Stanford, you are, even if you're an athlete, you are generally a pretty smart person. So that'll be interesting to see if what Keller Christ and how quickly Keller Christ can pick it up, because I think that quarterback battle is very intriguing. I think if Keller Christ wins the battle and ends up being your starting quarterback for this season, I think it's going to be an interesting year, because you're going to see whether or not Jarrett Garantano is going to transfer. Now, Tennessee has a elite 11 level quarterback in Brian Maurer coming in from the state of Florida in the 2019 class. That really fits Jeremy Pruitt's style of quarterback. Pro style guy, drop back passer. Jarrett Garantano can be that. And I think people put Jarrett Garantano in a... They marked him, fans and even probably Butch Jones to an extent, marked him as something he's really not. People always said that this guy is Josh Dobbs with a better arm. The kid can't run like Josh Dobbs. Not many kids can run like Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs was special. If Josh Dobbs had any competent coaching in his 4 years at Tennessee, would most likely have an opportunity to start at quarterback in the NFL, because I don't think he was ever properly developed. I think, and I will always say this, Josh Dobbs covered up a lot of problems with the Tennessee offense in his 4 years, and it was evident last year as Tennessee went 4-8. So Josh Dobbs, Jarrett Garantano definitely can fit the pro style mold that Jeremy Pruitt wants. Jarrett Garantano's got a strong arm. It's going to depend to me on what's going to determine this race, this quarterback battle here in the fall, in these 4 weeks of practice leading up to September 1st. What's going to be important is how quickly Jarrett Garantano can pick up the offense. Now, Jarrett Garantano's obviously been there and he's learned it in the spring and everything, but I think, to me, I anticipate a fifth-year quarterback, son of a head football coach and Keller Christ, to be able to pick up schemes, be able to pick up verbiage. I'm not worried about Keller Christ being able to do so. I'm a little worried with the coaching that Jarrett Garantano's had over the last 2 years. It might be difficult for him. And that's no knock on Jarrett. That he wasn't prepared to be able to walk into a coaching staff like this and to be coached by a coaching staff like this. And that goes for the other 50 players or so that are on the roster that were under a Butch Jones coach regime. So it's going to be very interesting to see, for sure. Move on a little bit. We'll continue to talk about that a little bit later in the show as well. Talk a little bit more Tennessee football. Move on to the NFL for a minute. There was a football game on Thursday. Kind of. Hall of Fame game. If they're still calling it football. Not really sure what we're watching in the NFL anymore because it's not football. But, people talked about how excited they were to see like Lamar Jackson be able to play. Are the Bears going to be, they're going to make any improvement? And so it was pretty exciting. Everybody leading up to the Hall of Fame game, obviously you're not going to see a lot of starters. You're not going to see them long. So you're going to see guys like Lamar Jackson for Baltimore be able to play. And maybe you could see a little bit early on, is Mitch Trubisky, is he getting it? But no. Instead, everything that's been talked about is this ridiculous new rule in the NFL where you can't at all lead with your helmet, and apparently you can't tackle anymore. Apparently, tackling is illegal because there was a play in the game, and I don't remember the defensive back for the Bears who made the hit, but they threw a flag, and the kid made just a normal tackle. And I don't really understand what's going on, but Anderson Sendejo, safety of the Minnesota Vikings, on his helmet, took a picture and put it on Instagram. He put 2 face masks on his helmet, one on the top of his helmet, and he told his folks, he said, I'm making it easier for the officials to say I'm leading with my face mask because I have one on the top of my head and the one on my actual face. And then he also was wearing a hat that said, make football violent again. So we know Anderson Sendejo's take on the new NFL rules where apparently you just are not allowed to tackle.
Not at all subtle, that Anderson Sendejo.
No, but I love me some Anderson Sendejo, and those safeties in Minnesota are some hard-hitting guys.
Is Roquan Smith signed yet?
Oh, negative. No, he didn't. He's not been to camp for the Bears. So
for the obvious reasons, which the Bears don't want to guarantee the money that he would lose if he didn't tackle properly. This is what they're arguing over. What his agent is saying is, like, these rules are unclear, and he's already going to probably have to pay fines for like not tackling properly according to the league rules, and it's sketchy and weird and complicated. But the Bears want to take away his salary for this also, and Roquan Smith is like, I'm not signing that.
Well, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, no, I don't either. This is silly.
But I also don't blame the Bears either, because here's the problem.
I mean, I do blame the Bears because every other team managed to get their defensive players signed.
That's true.
Like, just know that, like, okay, you have to pay this guy at least the guaranteed money. That
agreed, but I also you're talking about one of probably the most violent tacklers in college football last year, in Roquan Smith. And the problem is that the NFL, one, their rules are never clear.
This is true.
And that's not even the officials' fault because they don't know. So I don't even blame everything on the NFL officials.
Oh, no, I don't ever blame anything on the officials.
Because they don't know the rules either, because the people who write them don't know them.
They're trying to enforce something that was apparently written by a group of Labrador retrievers. Like, we just don't know.
Well, you can't lead with your face mask. Okay, well, anytime you make a tackle, you lower your head. Because I mean, if you're watching on Facebook Live, I don't know how you would tackle without putting your head down.
Right, or if you're a running back and you're running behind your pads like you're supposed to, how do you also do that without lowering your head?
So that's the other rule, is that if a running back lowers their head, it's a 15-yard penalty, or any ball carrier for that matter lowers their head, it's a 15-yard penalty on the ball carrier.
Now, I haven't played football very much because I'm not good at it, but the brief few seconds of playing football that I have experienced involved a lot of lowering my head, mostly to curl up into a ball to protect myself. It's not possible to protect yourself without lowering your head.
And that's also the way to protect your head from not getting snapped back when you get hit. And, I also have not played at a high level of football, but I also understand as from coaching and teaching proper technique in tackling, you put your helmet across the body and wrap up to protect, your head. But guess where your head is? It's down.
Yeah.
There's no way to properly tackle someone with your head up.
When you bend over to pick something up, where's your head? It's down. Bending over, the act of bending over,
Put your head
lowers your head. That's what it does. This is just logic. This is not rocket surgery, as they say.
Yeah.
This is very simple. Just if you bend over,
It's physics.
yeah, it's not. It's just your head is attached to the rest of your body. If it goes down, so does your head. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what they think is going to happen here with these rules. It's funny because they went through the entire NFC East, and essentially the Redskins and the Eagles in particular were, to quote a source, frustrated. Just frustrated. Like nobody understood what was going on.
Can you imagine Peterson right now? Like one of the fieriest coaches that you'll see in the NFL, and he's probably just like, I don't even know what to tell my guys to do.
I mean, outside of Jason Garrett, that might be an angry group of coaches in the NFC East with
Yeah.
Peterson and Jay Gruden and
And I don't even know who's in New York. I still don't know who's in New York.
yeah,
And-
I forget his name.
but we'll talk more about this. Gonna dive into the Urban Meyer thing and a lot more when we get back, along with Tennessee starting fall camp yesterday. This is the Breakfast Blitz. Keon Rose, Nick Leffew. We'll be right back.
Traffic, news, and information. Nuga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
3, 2, 1.
Chatta, Nuga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4, 92.7 FM's news now.
The latest election results, according to News Channel 9, showed Jim Coppinger won, County Mayor. Sheriff Jim Hammond won. David Sharp won County Commissioner against Joe Graham, a longtime commission member. Sharp's relationship with Unify Ed gave him a major boost. Mark Graffett won Register of Deeds. The THP began its annual inspection of school buses this week. Troopers inspect the buses from stern to stern, ensuring everything is shipshape. A yellow sticker on the bus's bumper indicates its last inspection date. And parasite lungworm infections have been reported here in Tennessee. Reports say rat lungworm can travel through the bloodstream and into the brain through larvae. Humans can be infected by eating raw vegetables that contain a snail or slug. The CDC has sent out guidelines to healthcare providers on how to treat the nasty infection. Val St. John for Nuga Radio, News Talk 92.7 Action News now.
David Tulis. I made the move 1 o'clock every weekday afternoon, 1 till 3, Nuga Radio.
92.7 Chattanooga weather.
Expect fair skies to continue through your nighttime. On the muggy side, overnight lows only to the lower 70s. For Sunday, some morning sunshine, heating up highs of around 90. Can't rule out an isolated afternoon shower or storm with a few more scattered afternoon showers and storms for next week. Hamilton Physician Group. Calhoun Primary Care is now in a new location, 160 Curtis Parkway. Personalized medical care for you and your family. That's Hamilton Physician Group, Calhoun Primary Care. And I'm Soren Chief meteorologist at your 4.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
I got my business up and running and it's already expanding. I got lucky. Lucky because I found Signal Voice and Data. Signal Voice and Data can incorporate all of my business information sharing and communications seamlessly, keep my costs down, and let me work more productively with endless connectivity no matter where I might be. That's called working smart, not hard. Go to signalvoicetn.com and bring the future of communication to your business today. signalvoicetn.com.
I live, work, and play in Chattanooga, the scenic city. But when it comes to my next car, truck, or SUV, I'm Alabama bound. Fort Payne, Alabama, and Landers McClarty Ford. Big city selection of new and pre-owned vehicles with the small town price and friendly service. Now, I'm not knocking my hometown, but when it comes to my next ride, I only go to Landers McClarty Ford of Fort Payne. Their selection is huge. But if I can't find what I want, they'll find it for me with the same low price, same great service, and only a short drive away. And I can go online to look around before I leave the house. Got that next dream ride in your head yet? Yeah, you do. Get a head start at LandersMcClartyFord of FortPayne.com. Don't just dream it, find it at LandersMcClartyFord of FortPayne.com. That's right, Landers McClarty Ford of Fort Payne, Alabama.
Nuga Radio.
Roar into Talladega.
Hello? Who am I speaking with? Eric. You're our winner. Really?
You'll receive tickets for all 3 races between the Camping World Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and the Monster Energy Cup races.
Holy cow.
In addition, you'll receive a 2-night stay at the Microtel Hotel and restaurant accommodations at 2 area restaurants.
Nuga Radio.
Roar into Talladega.
Nuga Radio.
92.7.
Your NASCAR racing station. Nuga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nuga Radio. 92.7.
Do you hear that? That, my friend, is not what you're thinking. That is the new 2018 Indian Chieftain Dark Horse. Yeah, Indian. Indian motorcycle is more than a bike. It's an experience, an American icon. And Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga is the only place you'll find their new 2018 line. Are you ready to ride? Join the club. Go to Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga. Just look for the sign, 153 and Amnicola. Indian Motorcycle, the true American original.
Call 423-875-3600 if you're looking to expand your professional look of your business. Then consider the vast opportunities that are available when you locate your office with the Raines Group family. Remember, it's location, location, location. And the Raines Group has the location for your professional office. Check out the spaces for lease at Executive Business Park on the Lee Highway. Small or large, we will be able to suit your needs with the Raines Group. Call 423-875-3600 for the business professionals with the Raines Group.
Chattanooga Paint and Decorating would like to remind you it's so hot out there. And guess what? Your deck is taking a beating. It's probably starting to show wear. If you're hosting friends, get your deck entertainment ready with a fresh coat of stain and protect it from heat, sun, and rain with a quality sealant. If you want to get to work, Chattanooga Paint and Decorating want to help you. For exterior paint, stains, sealants, and supplies, stop by Chattanooga Paint and Decorating today on Hicks and Pike across from Valvoline or online at ChattanoogaPaint.com.
Nuga Radio.
Are you brain dead? Still voting for pathetic liberals? Take 3 hours of Sean Hannity from 3 to 6.
Nuga Radio.
Then call us in the morning between 9 and 11.
92.7.
Nuga Radio.
Welcome back to the Breakfast Blitz. Nick Leffew, Keon Rose here. We ended up talking at the end of the first segment about the new rules in the NFL and how stupid they are. But more importantly, I want to move on, and I brought it up a little bit when I first started the show about what's going on in Columbus, but I didn't dive too much into it because I wanted to be able to talk about it with you. Obviously, like I said earlier in the first segment, if you have any, if you're not under a rock, you know what's going on in Columbus, even if you're not a sports fan. And Urban Meyer's in some deep trouble, and of course, he's been put on paid administrative leave, which I said earlier sounded more like he's on maternity leave than anything.
And also, paid administrative leave is just the kiss of death.
Oh, yeah.
Like usually, you don't come back from paid administrative leave with your job.
I don't know of a coach that ever has.
I mean, that's something worth looking into, but like off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody.
And I think the big problem is, though, here's the issue. If you're Ohio State, you have to find a way to fire him with cause. If you cannot find a way to do so, you cannot fire him. Because $38 million buyout is, first off, whoever wrote that contract needs to be fired. Second, $38 million is a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, your lawyer. Well, first off, whoever is Urban Meyer's agent, that guy.
Good job.
Can he be president? Because that's wow. To negotiate that, can he be my agent?
Yeah, right. I mean, to be able to, first off, as a college football coach, to be able to negotiate a $38 million buyout. I'm not sure how long Urban Meyer's contract is. I know he just signed an extension. Last year?
Yeah, I think it's for 4 more years. 4 or 5 more years.
$38 million for 4 years?
That is an incredible amount of money.
You're
and I know he won a national title, and I know you expect him to win another one, but golly, man.
So, I mean, realistically, they wrote that in there because they weren't expecting to have to fire him.
Yeah, obviously. And there was no situation under which they would actually want to fire him. Oh, except this one. Yeah, this one right here.
And I am as much as I despise Urban Meyer, and I don't think he is a great human being. Obviously, I don't know him, so I'm not going to say I know from experience, but from things that you hear and from things that you see from his football teams, don't know that he lives by the morals that he preaches. However, I will always side on innocent until proven guilty. And there is a chance that Urban Meyer won, like what he said in his statement that he released on Twitter, that he did tell his bosses. And if you do that, you're clear.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter if he lies to us. Like that's.
Coaches
weird.
do that every day.
They do that every day, and it's weird that he would lie about that in that instance. I don't understand what the strategic advantage of lying about not knowing what Zach Smith was up to and all that stuff. Like, I don't understand what you gain from lying about that. But whether or not he did gain something from that, it doesn't matter what he tells us.
And the fact that those gentlemen are like family. Also just adds another layer to this whole thing. Obviously, what's his name? Earl Bruce was the coach, correct? Was that his name? Earl
Jones, I think.
Okay. Well, whatever. The former Ohio State coach that Urban Meyer played under and coached under was his mentor. And it's very it's obvious that he's done that. And he preaches that. He preaches that he follows that coach and he follows his ideals when it comes to morals and everything. Well, that is Zach Smith, his grandson. So
there's a clear connection.
So
there.
There's like almost to the point of it being kind of like nepotism.
Yeah,
there's another problem.
Which that's also, if we're going to talk about things that are systemically wrong with college football, like that's a very big one, is the nepotism. Like you just bring in your friends, the people. It's funny because we were talking earlier about Doug Peterson. Like all of these West Coast offense guys have all in some form or another either coached with each other, over or under each other,
or they're just best friends.
Like there's some level of like Jay Gruden, Kyle Shanahan, Doug Peterson, like the West Coast offense guys have all been coaches over each other, under each other,
and all with Andy Reid.
Yeah, they're all come from the Andy Reid coaching tree. So it's just like you just sort of hire your friends in football,
and that's fine.
Yeah,
because one, you work with them every day, and honestly, to be honest with you, there's no other profession in this world where you spend more time with your coworkers than you would as a football coach. And so, especially at the college level.
Yeah, you spend more time with your coworkers than your family.
Yeah, you definitely see as a head coach, you see your offense and defensive coordinator more than you see your wife. So, I get it. You want people you're going to be comfortable with. I completely understand that.
And and I'm not even saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that there is obviously a downside to it.
But here's the downside. Because one, Zach Smith's not even good at his job.
No.
Because nobody else wants to hire the guy, and it has nothing to do with the stupid.
According to Bruce Feldman with Fox Sports,
who I trust very much,
Zach Smith is considered in just the coaching world to just generally be a screw up. If he didn't,
like Butch Jones.
If he didn't know Nick Saban, he wouldn't have a job.
Yeah, and the fact that
or not Nick Saban, sorry, Urban Meyer,
and he's followed Urban everywhere. I mean, he was with Urban in Florida as a TA. And then he's moved with him to be wide receivers coach and probably bag man. If you're the worst coach on the staff and you're the one that's the most expendable, wouldn't you be the bag man that takes the money to the kids? Like, let's not all be naive and say that everybody doesn't pay everybody in college football, because that's a load of crap. Players are paid. It's fine. We know this. Move on.
And I'm just saying, there are some schools I can believe don't pay people.
Yeah,
I have a lot of trouble believing Ohio State's one of those schools.
Yeah, any of your blue bloods who are always there. Yeah, you're paying.
And this isn't me taking shot. Like I root for Texas. I would find it incredibly difficult to believe that Texas wasn't paying everyone and being bad while doing so.
Now I know nothing about the inner workings of Tennessee football when it comes to that, but I hope to God we're paying people. If everybody else is doing it, look, my philosophy when it comes to college football is if you're not cheating, you're not trying,
and don't get caught.
And you can't pull an SMU and write checks that are on the SMU stupid check and letterhead. Like, come on now.
Yeah,
but be smart about it.
Have some degrees of separation now. Like,
yeah. But again, Zach Smith very well could have been that bagman, plus the nepotism, plus the fact that Urban wanted him to get another job. He was actively trying to get Zach Smith out of there, but he didn't want to fire the guy that is like a brother to him without that guy having another job. And I get it. Again, this shows that Urban Meyer may not be the complete scumbag that I think he is, because he does care about the people that are close to him. But he also is making it very clear he does not care about the law if he knew about this.
Right. And that's the thing. It's what did Urban Meyer know and when? Like, that's the real question.
And we'll probably never know.
Yeah, I don't think we ever will. And as long as that can stay obscure enough,
you can't fire him.
And as long as there's some kind of documentation, like I think there does have to be some level of documentation that says he reported this stuff. But if there is, he's fine. He's gonna come back and end up coaching again.
And Urban Meyer's a really smart guy. I'm gonna tell you that he is. And he's really good at lying, which you have to be as a head football coach. As bad as that sounds, you have to be. One of Butch Jones's downfalls at Tennessee is the man could not tell a lie. At least he tried. He tried a lot. He just couldn't do it.
Well, it's not just he couldn't tell, like he couldn't tell the right kinds of lies.
Yeah, I mean he said Shy Tuttle fell on a helmet.
We don't believe you.
And it's just like, fell on a helmet. He got a black eye from tripping and falling on a helmet.
It would have been more realistic if you just said he tripped and fell on the floor.
He tripped and fell on a helmet.
Specifically on a helmet. There was just a helmet perfectly placed.
It's football. If your guys get in a fight, that's okay. That happens. That happens on national championship winning teams. You see each other all the time. You're hitting each other on the field. Football is a violent, well, at least used to be a violent game. You're going to get frustrated with each other. You're going to hit each other. It's okay. It's okay to get in a fight.
It's natural. And in fact, it's not even just football. If you look at any sport where a group of guys stay in close proximity to each other for long periods of time, that's hockey, basketball, baseball. This is Max. Who is it that Max Scherzer got into it with somebody the other day? I mean, it's just, this happens.
It happens, and especially when you're not winning.
Yeah, and they weren't. And so, I mean, just like Butch Jones telling these horrible, horrible lies. Like, he's like on the list of things that Butch Jones is bad at. Lying shouldn't have been one of those things, and it was. But like Urban Meyer is just like,
he's really good at it.
Urban Meyer is a great college football coach, and this is just key on speculation. But I think if you're a great college football coach, you are a sociopathic level liar. Like you could just don't even blink.
Look at Nick Saban.
Yeah,
and again, I
look at Dabo Swinney. I know a guy that just isn't honest at all. It just really isn't.
And then everybody loves him. You know what though? Here's the thing. It's kind of like, and I'm going to equate it to politics a little bit. Sometimes I don't want to know everything. I need you to lie to me. I need sometimes the president to not tell me the truth, because there's things I don't need to know. And the same thing goes on for a college football coach. If a journalist asks you a question at a press conference and you don't want to give the answer, one, you better be, and I want to talk about this too, you better be good at making a lie up, because just ask Dan Mullen how that went for him on Thursday. I don't know if you saw his press conference.
I did not.
Okay, well, for some reason, so one of their best wide receivers, and his name escaped, Tony, Kadarius Toney. Okay, probably their best returning wide receiver, other than like Van Jefferson, who just got cleared to play by the NCAA, got pulled over. This is the thing with the Tay-Bang, the gambler. That's the like, apparently Florida now has like a gang on their football team that's like in a gang war, not really a gang war because it's not a gang, but in a war with this gambler. First off, what the hell is going on in Gainesville? Two,
probably the same stuff that's always been going on in Gainesville.
You know, Dan Mullen walked in there and he's like, did Jim McElwain discipline anybody, or am I just walking into a complete mess?
No.
And the answer
answer that question is no. Jim McElwain was coaching for his life. He disciplined 0 people.
And Dan Mullen's over here probably like, oh my God, what is going on?
And Dan Mullen is one of those rare guys that's an actual good person.
Exactly.
He didn't want any of this. He didn't want any of this.
Somebody asked him a question, what's his weapons policy? Because Kadarius Toney gets pulled over by the police with a loaded AR-15 in his back seat. And Dan Mullen is like stumbling over his words. First off, how do you not know this is going to be a question that's asked? And he's like, I have no weapons policy. I mean, I have a no weapons policy. And you're just
okay, I can understand not having a weapons policy. This is not something that I, Dan Mullen, have ever encountered before in my life. In Gainesville, and if you know the history of the University of Florida and just the crime that has passed through that team, you would know. This is not shocking to a lot of people.
There,
but I think it's just the head coach. I just think just coming out of Starkville, he was just used to wholesome. You know, we don't do
good
anything.
Southern people.
The worst thing that could happen is maybe one of my players gets too liquored up at a bar. Like this is, I never imagined that an AR-15 would ever cross my path.
And not only that, Kadarius Toney, the cop says, man, like the cop is really calm with it because Kadarius is following. So good job on Kadarius Toney's part for actually doing what he's supposed to do and being honest with the cop. So kudos to you. He, by the way, same guy who wants to have a rap career when his college career's done.
Well, let's put it this way. The rap career is looking a whole lot more likely.
Well, especially with having a loaded AR-15 in your back seat. But anyway, the cop goes, you can't have a loaded AR-15 in your back seat. Like you can't do that. And he was like, man, the locals are trying to get me. He told the cop that.
Which okay,
on video.
Again, I guess kudos for the honesty again, but you are in a situation where the locals are trying to get you and a handgun wasn't enough. I just wondered, what are you into?
This is the same guy who is chasing these same people around with a painted black-tipped airsoft gun with his teammates, chasing him with rocks and a frying pan because they came to the campus and they saw the guy and they didn't want him on campus, so they're chasing him down the street with a frying pan.
I'm really
You don't bring a frying pan to a gunfight.
You do not. You don't bring a frying pan to most fights. It's just.
And then this situation, it gets more weird.
This is so bizarre
because Dan Mullen is literally stumbling over himself in this press conference, saying one, he first started with, I have no weapons policy, and then he's like, oh crap, I can't say that. I mean, there is a no weapons policy. Okay, well, first off, you said that. Now you say you're having a zero tolerance on a weapons policy. One of your guys got pulled over with an AR-15 in their backseat. So
I guess you have to enforce that now.
Okay, so
this policy that you seemingly just made up in front of the media.
When are coaches going to learn to quit with these absolute policies? Nick Saban's the best at it. He does every situation on its own merit, which is the way you should do things.
Yeah, granted that sometimes the merit of the situation is like, ooh, I need Cam Sutton back. I guess I can't suspend him.
Yeah, well, and here's the big problem though. If you're Dan Mullen, you sounded like a moron, which he's not. Dan Mullen is not an idiot.
He was just entirely unprepared for that question.
And he's like, someone was like, well, if they're going hunting, and he started listing all these different reasons of why the no weapons policy wouldn't be in effect because sometimes you need guns. And I'm like, first off, you're not taking an AR-15 hunting.
What are you hunting? Elephants?
No, he's hunting K-Bang. So I don't. First off, the fact that this guy's name's K-Bang, that's outstanding.
You made it in life with a name like Tay-Bang and managed to still be somehow a threat to people.
So again, there's another layer to this.
It's like a boy named Sue situation going on.
The guy works at Tay-Bang works at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Okay.
Well,
he moonlights as a bookie. Okay. So he's running this gambling operation out of the back of the Enterprise store in Gainesville. Oh no, it gets better. The same Enterprise store that he's giving guys like Kadarius Toney a discount on rental cars, which is impermissible benefits and can get Florida into huge trouble.
And I feel like that's going to somehow get washed away by the fact that
not when the NCAA cares, because they don't care about you beating people and shooting people. We're like, oh, but you got 10% off on your rental car. Oh,
no, can't do that. Oh, you were getting free tattoos. Oh boy, get Jim Tressel out of here. Look, I don't like first off, we could just put the NCAA thing to the side. Like, I don't understand them. Their rules make no sense. What is enforceable and what is not enforceable in the eyes of the NCAA? It's a coin flip, quite frankly, what it is that they choose to go after and what they choose not to go after. But I will say this about this whole Florida situation, which is that I wish that I knew a Hollywood producer, someone who could just get the rights to this and make it a movie.
Could you imagine the 30 for 30 for the last 15 years in Gainesville?
They should just have a 30 for 30 called Gainesville. Because they should have a comedy on FX called Gainesville. Because the stuff that happens there could literally only happen there.
And you know what? As a Tennessee fan, I laugh at this because this is just great because nobody's gotten hurt. No, it's just a funny story. But you're on the verge of somebody getting hurt if somebody at the University of Florida, and I think this is at the point where this is out of Dan Mullen's hands.
This is a guy that feared for his life so much he was driving around with an AR-15 in the back of his car.
Because his quote was, "The locals be after me."
And this is insanity. Like, this is complete madness in a way that...
And he's driving around with the AR-15 in his back seat in Florida gear.
You root for Tennessee, I root for Texas, and at least we just have to be worried about being bad. We don't have to worry about all this other stuff. At least the only thing that we really have to worry about is, like, we might not be good this year. Like, Florida has to worry about not being good this year, and I don't know, there might be a gang war with half our football team with gambling debts. There might be, like, just NCAA infractions going on here. This is the nightmare that Dan Mullen didn't have any idea that he was walking into.
He's got to be going. Well, first off, let's back all this up and tie it back to Urban Meyer. All this happened because Urban Meyer let whatever we wanted to happen in Gainesville. Will Muschamp walked in, had to kick off half the team. That's why they lost 8 games after they won 11. And then Jim McElwain comes in and lets them do whatever they want to. And then now Dan Mullen walks in and probably is like, man, I wish I stayed in Starkville.
That seems like a better job at this point. Does that not seem like a better job? Also, if you had listed that series of events and said, what school in college football did this happen to? I would have bet all the money that I own that it was Florida.
It's either Florida or Miami.
One of the two.
Yeah, it's one or the other.
First off, it couldn't happen in another state.
And that's very true.
It could not happen. Like, those are the only 2 campuses. Like, it's not happening at UCF.
No. Maybe Florida State. Maybe. But the thing is, the Bobby Bowden, good old boy still down there. And they still kind of run that way. So, I think that's the case, but we'll talk a little bit more about this on the other side, starting the second hour.
It's unbelievable
because the story has so many layers. But we'll be right back. Start the second hour of the Breakfast with Nick Leffew, Keon Rose joining me. Nougat Radio 927 FM.
Traffic, news, and information. Nougat Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
3, 2, 1.
Chatta, Nougat Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4, 92.7 FM's news now.
A gas station assault suspect was arrested. Reports say Devin Lee Garten was taken into custody, charged with assault after authorities say he punched and kicked a gas station attendant on Highway 60. When the video of the assault was released, tips came pouring in and deputies made an arrest within a few hours. The candidates for governor have been decided. Republican Bill Lee will face up against Carl Dean in the November election. And for the Senate, Marsha Blackburn is going to go up against Phil Bredesen for the seat that was vacated by former Senator Bob Corker. Ricky Gilly was sentenced to 7.5 years for his part in running a methamphetamine ring. Drug agents say they used a confidential informant to buy meth from Gilly at the Chat Inn, which they say he had been shipping in from Atlanta. Reports say he had sold up to a pound of meth a week. Russell Stroud, Nougat Radio News Talk 92.7 Action News. Now.
Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 p.m. on Nougat Radio 92.7 FM.
Nougat Radio 92.7. Chattanooga. the weather.
Expect fair skies to continue through your nighttime. On the muggy side, overnight lows only to the lower 70s. For Sunday, some morning sunshine, heating up highs of around 90. Can't rule out a nice late afternoon shower or storm with a few more scattered afternoon showers and storms for next week. Hamilton Physician Group. Calhoun Primary Care is now in a new location, 160 Curtis Parkway. Personalized medical care for you and your family. That's Hamilton Physician Group, Calhoun Primary Care. And I'm Soren Gene Quell, Chief Meteorologist at your 4.
The radio 92.7.
Your home is a constant work in progress. Repaint the walls? Yeah, easy enough. Leaky faucet? There's a video for that. But roof repair? You might want some help. That's where Chattanooga roofing contractors come in. They have 3 generations of roofing excellence you can count on. Leave the ladder in the garage. Go to chatroofing.com. That's chatroofing.com for Chattanooga roofing contractors, a roofing company you can trust.
My ex recently hacked my email and my social media, and it really caused me some problems. I changed all my passwords, which helped, but I'm still getting trolled, maybe even stalked. I know it's him. I just can't prove it.
My business, well, it's been broken into twice already. I've got cameras, but that only helps after the fact. I'd rather prevent it from happening in the first place.
Unity One East is your solution to these and many other security concerns. With private investigation, security services, and backed by decades of real-life experience in military and law enforcement, Unity One East is your instant contact for security, investigation, and consultation to help protect you, your family, and your business. No 1-800 number, no red tape, no wait, because Unity One East is local and available 24/7. Reclaim your peace of mind. Call Unity One East, 475-6206, 475-6206.
Hey, Karen, you need me for that 1 o'clock?
Yes, Cheese, please. Karen, did you get the quarterlies done? Yep, they're filed in the cabinet.
Karen, can you describe the initiatives to the new hire? Thanks.
Oh, sure. Full-bodied, some floral notes, maybe a hint of dark chocolate.
Am I in the right department?
Got wine on the mind? Come unwind at Virgola. Italian wine, oysters, caviar, cheeses, and more. Perfect after work or a romantic date night. Virgola Italian Wine Bar, 608 Georgia Avenue.
I live, work, and play in Chattanooga, the scenic city. But when it comes to my next car, truck, or SUV, I'm Alabama bound. Fort Payne, Alabama, and Landers McClarty Ford. Big city selection of new and pre-owned vehicles with the small town price and friendly service. Now, I'm not knocking my hometown, but when it comes to my next ride, I only go to Landers McClarty Ford of Fort Payne. Their selection is huge. Then if I can't find what I want, they'll find it for me with the same low price, same great service, and only a short drive away. And I can go online to look around.
WPLZ HD4 Ottawa, W224AZ Chattanooga.
Serving Chattanooga.
Broadcasting live from the center of the universe, the Tennessee Valley's most listened to news talk station.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by
I'm Gary Nunn. Fires, 89 major ones in 13 states now, 750,000 acres destroyed. California Governor Jerry Brown today visits one fire zone in Shasta County. KPIX TV reporter Elizabeth Cook.
The ranch fire around the eastern shore of Clear Lake now covers an area the size of San Jose and is just 28% contained. With a red flag warning in effect for the fire zone, things could get worse this weekend.
7 major fires now burning in California. Flooding, a major rain break is allowing crews to repair damage to College Lake Dam in Lynchburg, Virginia, where downpours raised water levels in a reservoir.
The level of this lake or reservoir is way down, and that is very good news because Thursday into Friday, it was surging over this bridge and dam and threatening to destroy the entire structure and threatening the lives of many people living downstream.
CBS's Chip Reed, one evacuee.
I am hoping that we go back home soon, but I'm a little scared to see if there's any damage.
Workers right now clearing debris from clogged floodgates in the dam. North Korea's foreign minister has responded to the U.S. warning to other countries against violating international sanctions on Pyongyang, calling recent moves by the U.S. alarming. CBS News correspondent Weijia Jiang with President Trump at his golf course in New Jersey.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo shifted the administration's message on North Korea, acknowledging there was still a ways to go to get North Korea to denuclearize. President Trump has said the U.S. was making significant progress. At a security forum in Singapore today, Pompeo shook hands with North Korea's foreign minister and delivered a letter from President Trump to Chairman Kim.
First Lady Melania Trump's top policy aide reportedly has left the job after 6 months. 28-year-old Reagan Hedlund most recently helped launch the Be Best anti-bullying initiative. Politico reports that Hedlund plans to work on foreign policy issues. A UN report warns of a major health crisis underway in Yemen. CBS's Larry Miller at the foreign desk.
The World Health Organization warns that war-devastated Yemen is on the brink of a third massive cholera epidemic. The UN calls for a ceasefire in the north to allow for vaccinations. Health workers are standing by to vaccinate more than 500,000 people in the next few days. A UN spokesperson says widespread malnutrition is likely to increase deaths from cholera because people in Yemen no longer have the physical resources to fight the infectious disease.
The death toll in a twin suicide bomb attack on a Shiite mosque in eastern Afghanistan, now 35. This is CBS News.
ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified candidates for businesses of all sizes. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Save more with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Hey, Todd, Liberty Mutual just saved me $782.
Liberty did what?
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Maybe I should switch to Liberty Mutual.
Visit us online to... Hey, stop echoing.
Sorry.
Visit us online to get a quote, and you could save $782. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Based on a recent countrywide new customer survey, coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company, Equal Housing Insurer.
Knock some projects off your to-do list without having to do them yourself. Every day, over 8,000 homeowners turn to the Home Depot's home services to help install garage doors, HVAC units, windows, bathroom models, nearly any home improvement project. All done by licensed local pros, backed by the Home Depot. It's the smartest way to get from to-do to done. Schedule an appointment today at homedepot.com/home services. The Home Depot. More save it. More do it. For license information, visit homedepot.com/license numbers.
At least 10 states are now offering a sales tax holiday designed to give families a break as they go back to school shopping. Reporter Bruce Marcus in Eagle River, Wisconsin.
The Badger State is holding a 5-day sales tax holiday. Rick Chandler serves as state revenue secretary.
The products that are exempt are clothing. Each item must be $75 or less. Computers for personal use, school computer supplies, and school supplies where each item is $75 or less.
Many people are taking advantage of the bargains like this woman.
I have 2 kids. Any way to save a little money is always a good idea.
The sales tax holiday runs through the weekend. Bruce Marcus for CBS News, Eagle River, Wisconsin.
McDonald's now dealing with a parasite outbreak linked to contaminated salads. Nearly 400 people in 15 states have gotten sick. More than a dozen, mostly in the Midwest, have been hospitalized. Gary Nunn, CBS News.
Are you more...
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
A gas station assault suspect was arrested. Reports say Devin Lee Garten was taken into custody, charged with assault after authorities say he punched and kicked a gas station attendant on Highway 60. When the video of the assault was released, tips came pouring in, and deputies made an arrest within a few hours. The candidates for governor have been decided. Republican Bill Lee will face up against Carl Dean in the November election. And for the Senate, Marsha Blackburn is going to go up against Phil Bredesen for the seat that was vacated by former Senator Bob Corker. Ricky Gilly was sentenced to 7.5 years for his part in running a methamphetamine ring. Drug agents say they used a confidential informant to buy meth from Gilly at the Chat Inn, which they say he had been shipping in from Atlanta. Reports say he had sold up to a pound of meth a week. Russell Stroud, Chattanooga Radio News Talk 92.7 Action News now.
Chattanooga Morning News with Russ and Val. Weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM.
Chattanooga weather.
Expect fair skies to continue through your nighttime. On the muggy side, overnight lows only to the lower 70s. For Sunday, some morning sunshine, heating up highs of around 90. Can't rule out an isolated afternoon shower or storm with a few more scattered afternoon showers and storms for next week. Hamilton Physician Group. Calhoun Primary Care is now in a new location, 160 Curtis Parkway. Personalized medical care for you and your family. That's Hamilton Physician Group, Calhoun Primary Care. And I'm Sorgene 12, Chief Meteorologist at your 4.
The radio 92.7.
We just started a family and we're already planning for the future. Michael Levy has helped pave the way to keep our financial future on track. He's local, he knows us, and cares about what's important to us. Don't put your future on hold. Call Michael Levy, 779-7755.
Diamonds, diamonds, diamonds. At Rick Davis Golden Diamonds, Rick is buying and selling a woman's best friend, diamonds. Stop in now and check out the wide selection from Chattanooga's premier jeweler, Rick Davis Golden Diamonds, 5301 Brainerd Road in Chattanooga. Before you buy, let Rick Davis Golden Diamonds create that special gift for you. Diamonds, diamonds, diamonds. At Rick Davis Golden Diamonds, 5301 Brainerd Road in Chattanooga.
Cougar Radio 92.7.
Well, welcome back to the Breakfast Blitz. Nick Leffew, Keon Rose here, joining me live here on Cougar Radio 92.7 FM. So we now have Dan Mullen's audio of his wonderful press conference, which he was doing a wonderful job in the press conference before the reporter asked that question about his weapons policy. And we're gonna listen to a little bit of Dan Mullen's answer because it's interesting. Well, we're gonna work on the audio.
We're gonna do the really bootleg version of this.
We're gonna work on the audio, but it's something that you really need to hear because it is. If you haven't heard it, it is quite interesting.
It's a doozy.
And the poor man, his answer. Oh, poor Dan Mullen. And we're gonna break down more layers of this as Keon and I were talking about it in the break. There's more layers to this, but Keon's got the audio pulled up.
Yeah, well, you know what? One of the things we talk about, I have a no weapons policy, but I think it's not like you're not allowed to have a gun. We live in a country where that's one of your rights, and a lot of people I know have guns in their house to protect their homes and their family. What we do is spend a lot of time with the no weapons, really is to educate them on weapons, on having guns, and why would you have it? What's the purpose of having it? To me, one of the biggest concerns with a lot of young people today is if you're going to have a gun, make sure you're properly trained in knowing how to use it. And that's one discussion that we've had of potentially, I haven't set this up, and as we're getting things going, is if you think you need to have a gun for home security, are you trained in using it? Is it a legal gun? Do you have a license? You qualified? And are you trained in using it so that...
This goes on forever, by the way. We could keep going, but we'll put Mr. Mullen out of his misery here.
And then he goes on later and he just completely stumbles over his words like guns. Yeah, it's just
he was talking about people having guns at home for home security, which is true, and it's a thing,
and it's perfectly fine because it's legal in this country.
But that's not what anyone asked you. The question was about the guns that the players were caught with, and what Dan Mullen's gun policy was on that. And he didn't answer the question. He didn't answer the question in any particular kind of way. Nick just got distracted by something on TV. The president took a shot at LeBron.
Anyway, I feel like that's completely unnecessary. I'm sure we can talk about that in the next segment. But there's more layers to this that's going to continue. And I know I kind of teased that before we went to break. So, Devontae Zachary, also known as K-Bang, the guy who runs the his gambling operation out of the back of an Enterprise store in Gainesville, where he gives players discounted rental cars, which that's going to be the only part the NCAA cares about in this whole thing, is that, oh my God, they got 10% off their rental car. But that's to me, that's not even important.
That's burying the lead quite
well, what's important is this continues to just keep going into more layers. Keontae Lewis, tight end for the University of Florida, starting tight end, really great player. Apparently, this gambling ring goes to them, to Tay-Bang, betting on Florida games, telling these Florida players they're going to get a cut of the money if they fall within the point spread.
It's just, I don't even have the words to explain. I can't even, I want to be disappointed, but we've passed into such a hilarious area of this. I can't even be disappointed anymore. But I am still surprised, and nothing should surprise me at this point, given this is where we are. I'm surprised.
Dan Mullen, as good of friends as he is with Urban Meyer, he's got to be thinking, oh, thank God this is going on in Columbus. Because if it wasn't, this would be the national story.
This would be the national story. And don't get it wrong. Urban Meyer's, that situation started to look a whole lot better. It looks like Urban Meyer may have reported to his bosses what he said he reported. That Urban Meyer situation is going to go away. And Dan Mullen has walked into, he doesn't even know what he's walked into. He can't even begin to explain. This is not what he thought this Florida job was going to be, clearly.
And the amount of pressure that he now has on himself, not just to win football games, but now, and I don't know how Florida fans really feel about it, but now he's got to clean up the program.
Yeah, and that's not the job you signed up for. He signed up for, here's a team that maybe underachieved. I can help take them to that next level. And he walked into a situation where he's like, actually, no, this program's
it's a gang war.
There's a gang war going on. This is clearly in shambles. I may have to kick multiple people off of this team. I'm a player developer, not a recruiter. I need the guys that are actually here. I can't, I'm not going out there like Dan Mullen is getting his butt kicked by Jeremy Pruitt, Kirby Smart, Nick Saban. Everybody else in the SEC is doing a better job than him right now at recruiting talent. He can't afford to lose guys, but he's going to have to lose guys, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what you do. I mean, obviously Florida's going to end up having to run an investigation on this whole thing. And I don't know what you do. This is straight up 80s you stuff. The you, walking into a game in camo. That's what we're doing here.
Yeah, but them walking into the game in camo was symbolic. They weren't actually involved in a war. They were saying the football game is like war, not that we are fighting with the bookie that we may be shedding points with.
Oh, God. And not only that, Florida's going to come in wearing camo with an AR-15 over their back into the stadium.
It's just you but for protection. Like I said, this again, not symbolically.
Because as quote, the locals be after me.
Okay. I personally, I don't say that much to the police. I don't even do anything wrong, and I don't say that much to the police. If you say that to the police, I think you're actually scared that you might get caught. You're out here going, I might get got out in these streets. I need the cops to cover me. Hey, though, officer, look, this looks ridiculous. But there's a guy named Tay-Bang, and he's after me.
And the Gainesville police know who Tay-Bang is.
Oh, they have to know. They have to know. First off, your name is Tay-Bang. Your name is on somebody's cork board, some detective's cork board with ribbon connecting you to a dozen crime scenes. This is where you are.
Tay-Bang comes to the Florida campus strapped, ready to go against these guys.
And they were not prepared. I don't know. Are they just sharing the one AR-15 between all of them?
I don't know, but I until I heard the AR-15 portion of the story, I definitely thought Kadarius Toney was kind of a wimp because he goes out and he chases this guy with a painted black tipped airsoft gun. Watch out, I'm going to shoot you. You're going to get some welts on your feet. No. Now this guy has an AR-15 in his back seat. Mm-hmm. He's not playing games.
He's upgraded. He's like, you know what? This whole stuff might not actually solve this problem. I'm gonna need to upgrade.
You know you're in a bad situation if you believe you need a semi-automatic rifle as protection.
Right. Like I said, you decided a handgun wouldn't do. You're like, and that's the thing, because a handgun's lethal. Like, you don't need an AR-15, really,
unless you're getting chased by a gang of people.
In which case, you might actually need one.
What did these players? Look,
gambling is serious. But all I'm saying is they need to go ahead and just legalize gambling in Florida, like this, because this here is happening in large part because a guy like Taybag is operating in this illegal space
in the back of an enterprise store.
In the back of an enterprise store, which just to me is just it. Like, you ever see that show Chuck?
Yes.
Where he's like secretly a spy, but he also works at like the whatever that world's version of Best Buy is. That's what this reminds me of. It's like, by day I'm an enterprise employee. We'll pick you up, but also in my spare time,
when I pick you up, I'll let you place your bets.
I let you place your bets, and if you don't pay me back, I'm gonna bust your kneecaps like the mob. Somebody called Tony Soprano.
Apparently, this continued to get out of hand because those Florida players didn't get their cut of the money. So this is where the actual gang war, quote unquote, started.
They couldn't trust a man named Taybang
because they didn't get their cut from what Taybang said to the police, the point shedding that was being done by Florida players to fit within the thing. However, they started to lose. Florida started to lose last year. So Taybang's not winning money. He's losing money. So now Taybang's pissed because they're losing him money. So he starts going after these guys. I don't know.
Now, okay, so I watch a lot of drug documentaries. I don't know why. I just really like to. And one of the things that I've learned from drug documentaries is that the thing that all gangs know, you don't open this business for everyone to find out. It's bad for business. Taybang is obviously not a very smart bookie, because if you're going to go after a group of guys for your money, University of Florida players are probably some of the most high-profile collegiate athletes ever, just anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a very popular college. That's bad for business. The police will have to know about this at some point. And how is he not aware of this?
Well, and then he's the one that goes to the police and says he fears for his life because he's getting chased by a gang of Florida players.
And it's unclear, by the way, who started this.
Oh, 100%. We don't know everything. Obviously, we're making light of this. And
I'm assuming it's Taybang. Well, no one's been hurt yet, which is why I feel safe making.
No, that's not true.
No.
Wide receiver for the University of Florida gets knocked out in a nightclub by one of Taybang's people.
Oh, boy.
Tyree Cleveland says he doesn't know who knocked him out.
Well, okay, fair enough. I mean, if you get knocked the blank out, then that's kind of what that tends to happen.
Like, first off, you're in a nightclub when you know there are people after you. What are you doing?
Whatever happened to a low profile?
I am at a absolute loss with this whole situation because I forgot. I completely, until you said that, nobody getting hurt, I forgot about that part.
Yeah, no, this is insane. And also, we have an entire generation of people raised on TV that apparently have not watched some combination of the shows Breaking Bad and The Wire, and like all of the shows where it's like, okay, we're involved in crime and there might be some animosity going on. Like, you don't just go out to a nightclub. I'm sorry. If you fear for your life, everyone's at a nightclub. Everyone knows where that is, especially in Gainesville. Gainesville is not a big city.
No, it's a college town.
It's a college town. There can't be but more than 2 nightclubs. You just can't be out there.
Like, what is Tyree Cleveland doing? Like, why are you there? And why are you not like on your? If you are going to be there, you need to be.
Have anybody watching your back?
You need to be on a swivel. Your head needs to be on a swivel, and he just gets knocked out.
It's unreal.
In a nightclub.
In a nightclub. In Gainesville. I just
Do you think Dan Mullen's just like, man, I just hope this just goes away. I hope nothing happens.
Dan Mullen is in his bed underneath his covers, squeezing his eyes shut, praying that this is just a nightmare. This is just all a bad dream, and I'm going to open up my eyes and go and be a real football coach again, and not also some kind of like disciplinarian, also part-time like detective. He's in a really weird spot, and I don't know how. And maybe none of this stuff goes this far because, as we mentioned before, the NCAA, who knows what they're going to key in on as their thing of emphasis here. But this entire story is the wildest story to happen to the SEC since Ole Miss. And I don't understand how this happens.
Well, and it's funny because this whole offseason has been really quiet around college football. There's not been anything going on. The last week, we've got Urban Meyer covering up domestic violence. We got Florida players chasing after bookies and the bookie chasing after the Florida players, whoever's chasing after who. You got Kadarius Toney saying, locals be after me to cops for the reason why he has an AR-15.
Right, and just mere days before all of these stories broke, Jim Harbaugh was describing football as the backbone of American morality.
I'm
not so sure about that there, Jimmy.
I mean, you wonder why we have all these problems.
These seem to be football-caused problems.
Oh, God.
I don't think that I'm too far off base when I say that it looks like football caused all these problems.
And can we talk about, too, and a little bit more about this Florida situation, that when Tay-Bang comes after these guys on campus and they're chasing them with frying pans and rocks and an airsoft gun, which, first off, how stupid do you have to be to these guys probably have real guns and you're bringing rocks, frying pans, and airsoft guns.
This is not a playground fight.
No, this isn't. No. And so, first off, they're stupid for doing that. Second, every time they get caught doing something stupid, they're in their Florida gear. Like, at least don't wear your gear.
Easily identifiable.
Like, if you're going to do something stupid, at least don't wear your gear. This happened at Tennessee when Lane Kiffin was the coach. Highly touted recruit and freshman, Nukees Richardson, and two other guys who weren't as high up, robbed a pilot with airsoft guns.
Which, look, the airsoft gun trick, it only works but so many times. You are tempting fate. Every time you go out there with the old, he's going to think this airsoft gun's a real gun. Yeah, until you have to shoot it.
And then it's like, ow, but that didn't break my skin.
Yeah, and I have a real gun. Ooh, look.
Now you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Here's the problem, though. At least these Florida players are not going to places with cameras like the University of Tennessee players did in 2009, where you're robbing a store that has cameras and you're in your Tennessee gear.
It's just even bank robbers know to wear masks.
Like, how stupid are these players? Like, what goes through their heads?
There's just some guys that I just think want to be involved in crime and just have not even begun to think out the world of crime. Good criminals who don't get caught are actually smart. Like that. This is the thing that we all need to acknowledge. Criminals are not dumb. Most of them, at least the ones that don't get caught, don't get caught because they're not stupid. If you go in your jersey, in your gear, the police. This is the easiest. Like all the detectives in the unit are going, oh, I want that one. I want that one because I'm just trying to bump up my clearance rate, and I think I know who did this one. The guys in the Tennessee gear probably go to Tennessee,
and if they're in all athletic Adidas gear, they're probably athletes.
They're probably athletes. Oh, look, they are.
Oh, look, they're football players. Shocking.
Yeah, like, oh, really? These guys that are 6'2", 6'3" in Tennessee gear?
And ripped.
Gee, I wonder who they could be affiliated with. I mean, it's insane.
If you're the Gainesville Police Department, like, what do you do right now?
I'm pretty sure you just don't do anything. This is one of those things where it's just like, I guess you try and protect the players, but I don't know how you do that.
Well, how do you choose to protect the players over Tay-Bang, who, I mean, clearly is a criminal?
I suppose if you're the police department, the first thing you have to do is figure out who is after who first. Because Because did Tavang start this or did the players start this?
This reminds me so much of, I don't know, this is dating what kind of TV I watch, but the Andy Griffith Show. Okay, great TV show back in the 60s. Wonderful show. There's an episode where there's two families that are feuding with each other, but they don't know who started the feud. And so the daughter and the son are trying to get married because they're in love, and the families don't want them to get married because they're feuding with one another. And Andy asked one of the guys, he says, why are you feuding with the other family? Because we're shooting at one another. Okay, well, why are you shooting at one another? Because we're feuding. Okay, why are you feuding? Because we're shooting at one another. They just keep going back and forth.
Yeah.
And it's just like, but why?
I had a friend when I was in elementary school, and he was coming after me, so I started to run from him. And then he caught up to me finally, and because I just ran out of breath, and I was just like, man, why were you chasing me? And he was just like, you ran. And at somewhere in there, I thought he was chasing me. He thought I was running from him for whatever reason. So he kept chasing me. We don't know who started it. We have no idea. And everybody's just wasting everybody's time. There's not a giant misunderstanding, though. This is just pure silliness to the max. You really...
Yeah, and then, obviously somebody started this. But the police department's not going to have a clue who. And if you're athletes, this is, if any athletes ever listen to this is my tip to you. Be careful who you surround yourself with, because this is obviously, and this could amount to nothing, and it could be just completely overblown, which probably to an extent it probably is overblown. But be careful who you surround yourself with, because then you're going to end up in situations like this.
Yeah.
Go play football, go to school, get a degree, and then have a chance to go play in the NFL. Don't do anything to screw it up.
A very wise person who works at the station once told me that you are the average of your 5 biggest influences. Try not to make those influences very stupid people.
Yeah, 100%. Well, we'll be back with the final segment of this week's Breakfast Blitz. Nick Leffew, Keon Rose, Nougat Radio 92.7 FM.
Traffic, news, and information. Nougat Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
3, 2, 1.
Chatter, Nougat Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4, 92.7 FM's news now.
The latest election results, according to News Channel 9, showed Jim Coppinger won, County Mayor. Sheriff Jim Hammond won. David Sharp won County Commissioner against Joe Graham, a longtime commission member. Sharp's relationship with Unify Ed gave him a major boost. Mark Graffett won Register of Deeds. The THP began its annual inspection of school buses this week. Troopers inspect the buses from stern to stern, ensuring everything is shipshape. A yellow sticker on the bus's bumper indicates its last inspection date. And parasite lungworm infections have been reported here in Tennessee. Reports say rat lungworm can travel through the bloodstream and into the brain through larvae. Humans can be infected by eating raw vegetables that contain a snail or slug. The CDC has sent out guidelines to healthcare providers on how to treat the nasty infection. Val St. John for Nougat Radio, News Talk 92.7 Action News now.
David Tulis, I made the move 1 o'clock every weekday afternoon, 1 till 3, Nougat Radio.
92.7 Chattanooga weather.
Expect fair skies to continue through your nighttime. On the muggy side, overnight lows only to the lower 70s. For Sunday, some morning sunshine, heating up highs of around 90. Can't rule out an isolated afternoon shower or storm, with a few more scattered afternoon showers and storms for next week. Hamilton Physician Group. Calhoun Primary Care is now in a new location, 160 Curtis Parkway. Personalized medical care for you and your family. That's Hamilton Physician Group, Calhoun Primary Care. And I'm Soren Chief Meteorologist at your 4.
Nougat Radio 92.7.
I got my business up and running, and it's already expanding. I got lucky. Lucky because I found Signal Voice and Data. Signal Voice and Data can incorporate all of my business information sharing and communications seamlessly, keep my costs down, and let me work more productively with endless connectivity no matter where I might be. That's called working smart, not hard. Go to signalvoicetn.com and bring the future of communication to your business today. signalvoicetn.com.
I live, work, and play in Chattanooga, the scenic city. But when it comes to my next car, truck, or SUV, I'm Alabama bound. Fort Payne, Alabama, and Landers McClarty Ford. Big city selection of new and pre-owned vehicles with the small town price and friendly service. Now, I'm not knocking my hometown, but when it comes to my next ride, I only go to Landers McClarty Ford of Fort Payne. Their selection is huge. Then if I can't find what I want, they'll find it for me with the same low price, same great service, and only a short drive away. And I can go online to look around before I leave the house. Got that next dream ride in your head yet? Yeah, you do. Get a head start at LandersMcClartyFord@FortPayne.com. Don't just dream it, find it at LandersMcClartyFord@FortPayne.com. That's right, Landers McClarty Ford of Fort Payne, Alabama.
Nuga Radio.
Roar into Talladega.
Hello? Who am I speaking with? Eric. You're our winner.
Really? You'll receive tickets for all 3 races between the Camping World Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and the Monster Energy Cup races.
Holy cow.
In addition, you'll receive a 2-night stay at the Microtel Hotel and restaurant accommodations at 2 area restaurants.
Nuga Radio.
Roar into Talladega.
Nuga Radio.
92.7.
Your NASCAR racing station. Nuga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
Do you hear that? That, my friend, is not what you're thinking. That is the new 2018 Indian Chieftain Dark Horse. Yeah, Indian. Indian motorcycle is more than a bike. It's an experience, an American icon. And Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga is the only place you'll find their new 2018 line. Are you ready to ride? Join the club. Go to Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga. Just look for the sign, 153 and Amnicola. Indian Motorcycle, the true American original.
Call 423-875-3600 if you're looking to expand your professional look of your business. Then consider the vast opportunities that are available when you locate your office with the Raines Group family. Remember, it's location, location, location. And the Raines Group has the location for your professional office. Check out the spaces for lease at Executive Business Park on the Lee Highway. Small or large, we will be able to suit your needs with the Raines Group. Call 423-875-3600 for the business professionals with the Raines Group.
Chattanooga Paint and Decorating would like to remind you it's so hot out there. And guess what? Your deck is taking a beating. It's probably starting to show wear. If you're hosting friends, get your deck entertainment ready with a fresh coat of stain and protect it from heat, sun, and rain with a quality sealant. If you want to get to work, Chattanooga Paint and Decorating want to help you. For exterior paints, stains, sealants, and supplies, stop by Chattanooga Paint and Decorating today on Hicks and Pike across from Valvoline or online at ChattanoogaPaint.com.
Nuga Radio.
Are you brain dead? Still voting for pathetic liberals? Take 3 hours of Sean Hannity from 3 to 6.
Nuga Radio.
Then call us in the morning between 9 and 11.
92.7.
Nuga Radio.
Welcome back to the last segment of this week's Breakfast Blitz. Nick with you, on Road. Nuga Radio 927 FM. So we spent most of the day talking about football. And not even really on the field football, just absolute disasters happening in Columbus and Gainesville.
Off-the-field football is my favorite football.
Oh, it's the best football. It's by far the best football.
Nothing makes radio quite like a catastrophe.
Yeah, especially when it's not involving the school that you cheer for.
Right. I mean, when it's your school, there's more tears, possibly some drinking. It gets to be a little bit pathetic.
Definitely drinking.
Well, yeah, you mean you can't make it without it. So,
but I want to break down something that's not football related at all. And honestly, I was ready to take a little bit of break from the NBA and get ready just to move into football. However, our president can't keep his mouth shut.
He doesn't know how.
So, that being said, and I'm not a very political guy. I don't want to, I'm not going to sit here and talk policies or anything like that. But when you are the president of the United States and you go after the most popular athlete on the planet in the most cowardly way possible on Twitter, I lose more respect for you. And LeBron James is one of the most likable human beings on the planet. Whether you like to cheer for him or not, you cannot say that LeBron James is not a good person. You cannot say that LeBron James doesn't care about the community that he's a part of, where he's from. I mean, the school that he just opened in Akron, his hometown. LeBron James is a great, great human being. And the president of the United States decided to take a shot at him, and not just take a shot at him, but do it the way that only Donald Trump knows how, and that's via Twitter. And he takes a shot at LeBron James, saying LeBron James, well, he doesn't just take a shot at LeBron James, he takes a shot at a journalist too, which that's outstanding. LeBron James was just interviewed by the dumbest man on television, Don Lemon. Now, first off, I don't necessarily agree with Don Lemon all the time.
Yeah, and Don Lemon has done ridiculous things on TV.
Always. But he's not the dumbest man on television.
I mean,
do people watch TV? Like, throw political stuff out and just talk about television, and we're saying Don Lemon's the dumbest person on television?
Literally, Big Brother is on in this studio when I do my show. That has to be the dumbest show on television, casted with the dumbest set of human beings, one of whom actually attended UTC. Just that I've ever seen. That show is just nonsense personified. Those are the dumbest people on TV? Really? Really, it's Don Lemon? Okay, sure. Why not?
And so, in that case, he continues his tweet. He made LeBron look smart, which isn't easy to do. Okay.
It's a terrible insult because it has
LeBron
no
James
basis
is smart.
in reality. Yeah. We all know that LeBron James has an eidetic memory, which is a form of photographic memory, and LeBron James reads books, lots of books.
Has he ever listened to LeBron James have a press conference?
No.
The man is so well-spoken. I don't know that there's an athlete that is more well-spoken than LeBron James. And the fact that everything that LeBron James says is calculated. More than he ever says anything that's calculated, because nothing he says is calculated.
No, I mean, it's literally he wakes up in the middle of the night, has a random shower thought, and just smacks that bad boy on the internet like that is going to help anything at all.
And then he decides to end the tweets with, "I like Mike." I'm sure Michael Jordan's just really pleased that the president of the United States loves him.
And by the way, no, he's probably not. It's just... I don't understand the nature of this tweet, because what LeBron said was he didn't say anything about Trump as a person. He simply said that Donald Trump is using sports to divide us, which he is. That's not a secret.
No, it's not. And LeBron made a good point too, that sports is not something that has ever been used to divide us. It's something that brings us together.
Yeah,
and that's also very true, because if you even just look back at 9/11, what was used to bring the country together? Baseball. In New York City.
Baseball, and then football. The NFL season. The NFL season started, I think, like a couple of weeks later.
Yeah.
So yeah, we used sports to hold us together. You only need to watch the Olympics and the World Cup to know exactly what that does to a nation who even goes on a good run. Like what actually happened to France, and what happened to Japan and all these countries that went on a really good run in the World Cup. France won it, but like Russia had a really good run and they weren't expected to do it. And then that really was great for the Russian people. This is what sports are for. The fact that I have made so many friends who are different from just a large different set of walks of life from mine, based on the fact that we all like sports. And then, here comes Donald Trump trying to see if he can use the one thing that has never divided us to just drive a wedge in between people. It's not going to work. But also, to go after LeBron on this is just to me bizarre.
And again, I don't really want to get political, because I really don't care that much about politics. I don't. But I'll say this. Why in the world, and this goes for any president, not just Donald Trump, but why in the world is the president watching CNN? Don't you have better things to be doing right now than watching CNN and watching LeBron James promote the new school that he didn't need your stupid government's help to fix?
Yeah, LeBron, by the way, built a school. He built a whole school and didn't use government money and used all of his own money and has created a way for the school to fund itself without government money and is going to be tuition free for at-risk youth in Akron and in the Cleveland area. Oh, look, I mean, it's just, to me, that's not the guy you go after. Like, if there's any, and in fact, and Donald Trump's not really a Republican, so I'm just going to put him off to the side anyway.
He's Donald Trump. That's all he cares about.
But in fact, if you are a Republican, if you are a conservative, the story of LeBron James being the guy that pulled himself up by his own bootstraps, didn't know his dad, overcame that, used his skills, built himself an empire, quite frankly. And
isn't that the GOP way?
Yeah, that seems to be like that seems to be everything Republicans want from a human being is use your skills to make yourself better. So what I'm saying is, if you are a Republican and you happen to be a fan of our president, that's cool. I'm not even, but don't agree with him on this. Like,
not this.
Like, don't, because he's wrong. He's completely wrong, and like that's not what Republicans stand for at all.
No, it's not, and I think that's that right there. And again, don't want to get into political things, but that's the problem, is that people don't care what they actually say. They only care if there's an R or a D next to their name.
Yeah. And
I guarantee you, if Obama said some of this stuff, the Republicans would hate it. And vice versa. If it's the same for both parties, it doesn't matter. They don't care what's actually said. They just care who says it.
Yeah, that's just laziness, quite frankly.
100% it is. There's a reason why our country's stupid.
Yeah, we're lazy. I mean, me and Russell kind of talked about this on Two Millennials Talk, where there's just we don't even really try and have whole conversations about stuff. We just sort of lazily listen to what the media tells us, or we allow our lawmakers to just make laws about stuff that we don't really want to deal with. You know, like, oh, we don't really want to deal with gun control, so we'll just let whatever they legislate, that's fine.
Now, to go back a little bit with this. Now, obviously, LeBron James has criticized Trump on Twitter as well. And so obviously,
and also he's called him a bum.
He did. He called him a bum when he rescinded the offer to the Golden State Warriors to come to the White House. First off, that really rubbed me the wrong way with Trump too, is why, yeah, even if they don't come because they don't like you, you got to be the better man. You're the president of the United States. Still offer them. Okay, that's beside the point. LeBron James continues to talk here. He says he doesn't understand, talking about Trump, the power that he has for being the leader of this beautiful country. He doesn't understand how many kids, no matter the race, look up to the president of the United States for guidance, for leadership, for words of encouragement. He doesn't understand that, and that makes me more sick than anything. That we have someone this is the number one position in the world. So obviously there was an ellipsis there. He kind of cut off the quote. But he says, for someone to try to divide us by using our platform of sport has given me everything I could ever ask for, and I couldn't let that happen. So good for LeBron James, because first off, the president does not need to worry about having an opinion on sports. And I felt the same way with Trump, and I felt the same way with Obama. I don't care. That's not your job.
Like
you can
ESPN,
watch them.
I used to be annoyed. ESPN used to have Obama come in and like fill out his bracket. It's like, who actually cares Barack Obama and his opinion on who is going to wind up in the Final Four
does not matter to me at all.
Yeah, is of so little consequence to me. Why is this happening? Does he not have better things to do?
So I just, good for LeBron James for standing up for what he believes in. Another great thing about this country is that you can do that. And you know, I think to an extent, he's definitely right. He understands that sports has given him everything, and he's using that to give back to his community, to where he's from. Like you said, the man grew up without a father. He named his son LeBron James Jr. because he wanted to prove that he was going to be in that kid's life. LeBron James is a great family man. No one will argue that. LeBron James cares about the community that he's from. No one will argue that. So Donald Trump coming at LeBron James with completely just it just makes me so mad. Like, there is no point to do that. You have so many more important things you need to be doing than worrying about what a basketball player is saying about you. And honestly, LeBron James didn't even, during that interview, I don't believe he really said anything that wasn't true.
Yeah. No, he didn't say anything. First off, he didn't say anything offensive, and then he didn't say anything that wasn't true. And it's like you said, like LeBron's one of the most well-spoken guys that's just out there. Meanwhile, Donald Trump actually isn't. So, like, how could you be the one to criticize the intelligence of the way a person sounds of all the human beings? But this kind of gets to the heart of like what's wrong with Donald Trump, and this is about as political as I'm going to make this. He is insecure. Mm-hmm. He is incredibly insecure. And if someone says something even remotely about him, he has to find a way to get back at them. And it's weird how he chooses to do it. He just makes stuff up. He just makes stuff up.
He does.
That what he said is entirely untrue.
Everything. Everything he said except I like Mike in that whole tweet was wrong. Like, sure, that's fine. You can have the opinion to like Michael Jordan more. That's great. Nobody
cares.
How
much do you really like Mike? Like, if we find out tomorrow that Mike doesn't like you, do you still like Mike?
No.
Or is it going to be, I like Kareem the next day? And also, don't go there because Kareem doesn't like you and he's already said it. I mean, just like, where do you want to go with this? Just stop.
I've never seen anything. I've never seen anything like this. And for a leader of a country to come after, that would be like, okay, let's put this into another country. Okay, let's think about this. Let's just think of, I don't know, Harry Kane. What if whatever the Prime Minister of or the Queen of England, if the Queen of England came out and
went
said
after
this,
Harry Kane,
yeah,
or if Emmanuel Macron went after Paul Pogba,
yeah,
like what are you doing?
They wouldn't.
If Justin Trudeau went after Sidney Crosby, it's insane.
Because you know why they wouldn't? Because because they have class, first off, and they're not insecure, and they understand their place. Their place is not sports. Stay away from sports.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, Ronald Reagan was the one that sort of got this whole sports thing started by inviting teams to the White House. But it was supposed to be a nice, fun PR thing, like, oh, we actually care about teams visiting the White House. Not fun and not cool was him,
and it didn't matter the party at the time until now.
Yeah, no one cared.
And Donald Trump, and
I don't
again,
understand it.
Donald Trump is not a Republican. He's not. So Republicans who say that are full of crap.
Yeah, he just had to run as one.
I'm about the most moderate human being you're ever going to be because I really just don't care. But I care enough to know what's a Republican and what's not, and I know what's a Democrat and what's not. That's not Republican. That's not Democrat. He's just Donald Trump.
He's his own thing. Like, if there's just like the Trump party, just put him in that box and just leave him there. I don't know, man. But this I'm just saying, the idea that politics and sports could intersect in a really fun way, that's a thing of the past. Like, we're just done with that until...
That's over. I might as well just never have teams go to the White House again because it's just a mess. And if I'm White House PR, I'm like, okay, we're just canceling this. This is never happening again. And
why? It's a fiasco every single time.
Whoever wins, it doesn't matter the sport.
The only way it's not a fiasco is if it's college sports, because like those guys all know, like, we don't really have a choice.
Yeah, we're required by the government
like
to do this.
Saban says we're going. I guess we're going.
If I want to be on the team next year, I'm going.
But everybody else, like all the pro sports, like you don't have a unified front on this, and you end up with these weird situations where you've got like a third of the Patriots showing up, and the Warriors don't even go. You've got some of the Capitals saying, "I'm not really, not us." You know,
and then you have you bring, and I bring it back to this with all his comments on the players standing or kneeling for the national anthem. Again, why do you care? First off, that's the employer's problem. We are a free enterprise nation. We believe in the free market. We believe in these things. That's the employer's problem. That is not your problem. And yeah, is it just sure it can be considered disrespectful to the country to take a knee? First off, taking a knee is a sign of reverence.
How did we miss that?
And Colin Kaepernick kneed for that reason because he talked to a military person on what would be more respectful and still be able to get his point across, and we still crucify the guy for it. Beside the point. Now you're at a point where these players are doing it just to defy you because you can't keep your mouth shut.
And he said he was going to turn them into the new Hillary Clinton. This is how I know that LeBron's right. Like that's what his staffers said, that they were good, because this is what he does. He finds a thing and he goes, okay, this is going to be the new issue. And so maybe other people will just sort of ignore the dumpster fire that's happening elsewhere while I put this focus on something. It doesn't matter. Like whether or not players ultimately stand or kneel for the national anthem
does not matter.
Does not matter. It doesn't affect the games. It doesn't affect you in any way.
Why do I care what somebody else does? We are a free country. They can do whatever they want as long as their employer allows it. I don't care.
Just don't kill a person. Like how is this? This is not hard. People, this is America. Do what you want. I just don't care.
As long as you follow the laws, you do what you want. I don't care. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't care. If you want to take a knee and the NFL allows you to do it, fine. If you're willing to take the fine, fine. I don't care. You know what? It doesn't change my opinion of watching the NFL because you know what? Those players have opinions too. They are people too. They can have whatever opinion they want. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm actually more concerned with the fact that I might actually be rooting for the worst team in the NFC East. That's really what I'm concerned with. Maybe we're third if we're lucky. That's where I want to be. Yeah. And somehow we got this whole kneeling thing, and it's just like, and I don't know why it won't go away because it's not like everyone's kneeling anymore. But no, it
won't go away because people won't keep their mouth shut. People like Donald Trump, people like Roger Goodell won't keep their mouth shut. And this is honestly, this is the NFL's fault for this to even have come back up because they're like, oh, now we're going to put in a policy after nobody's talking about it anymore.
Yeah. Why did they do that?
The players aren't kneeling anymore. Oh, but hey, now if you do it, it's like when you tell a kid, don't touch the stove. It's hot. And what are they going to do?
You're going to touch the
stove.
They're
going to touch the stove. Don't take a knee. I'll fine you. What are they going to do? Knee.
I mean, they're going to take a knee. What, like, because you're first off, because you're patronizing them. Really,
yes.
They have a union, and they have a union so that they can have some kind of equal weight in this equation to you.
I'm sorry, if I'm a player in the NFL, I'm livid.
Yeah, and they were,
and as well they should be. And second, the Cowboys saying that they'll just cut anybody who takes a knee. If I'm the team,
everybody, or at least someone convinced Ezekiel Elliott to take a knee.
Or Dak Prescott, who said he's not going to, but
get Jerry Jones to somebody get Jerry Jones to call his bluff. Because obviously, random third stringer takes a knee. You cut him, you don't even lose sleep.
I wish all 70 of them would take, or 50, 53 on the roster, or 70, or whatever it is in the preseason. Every single one of them take a knee.
Hey, cut Ezekiel Elliott. I want Ezekiel Elliott to take a knee. Cut Ezekiel Elliott and see how fast the rest of the
Titans.
Yeah. The rest of the league will be in Dallas to field meetings with this guy tomorrow. Tomorrow. You're full of it, Jerry. And we all know it. We all know it.
It's outstanding that this is where we've come as a society, that even politics are starting to affect our sports, which is ridiculous because that's one reason I absolutely love sports, is that it's an escape from the actual reality. And now, because of our politicians, and it's not just Donald Trump, but
it's a lot of them.
But he's one of them, and
dying black,
and oh god, and he, for the love of God, these guys won't shut up and let me enjoy the sports when I can sit next to somebody who completely believes different than me, but we're having a great time together because of sports. Now, what happens? You sit at a football game and you're talking about stupid politics. It's so stupid. But that's beside the point. I didn't really want to go on a rant at the end of the show.
But we did.
And you know what? I thought it was a really good show, Keon. I thought we had some great conversations. Obviously, we'll be back next week when there's only 3 weeks left until the first full day of college football.
Special thanks to the University of Florida, by the way,
for a great segment and a half. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Thank you for joining us here on the Breakfast Split, Nuga Radio, 92.7 FM.
Traffic, news, and information. Nuga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM. 3, 2, 1. Chattanooga.